both married and successful. A few months after my divorce, I met a ruggedly handsome, out-of-work cowboy who soon asked me to marry him. My children liked him, and I was thrilled to get the offer. So of course I accepted. The first few months we were together were wonderful, except for the fact that my new husband didn't like living in my ex-husband's house with my ex-husband's furniture. So, because he was broke and I had good credit, I bought us, in order to please him, a new house, 10 rooms of furniture, 5 thoroughbred horses, and a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. I was thrilled when he finally got a job, but then 6 months later, at a Christmas party, he got into a fight with his boss and was fired. The next day, right before I left for school, he announced he was going home to his mother's ranch. I assumed he was joking, but later that evening, when I returned home, I caught what turned out to be my last glimpse of him, driving away in a large moving van with all my furniture. Naturally, he had already taken the 5 horses. I never saw him, the horses, or the furniture again. A few months later, I lost my house, got high blood pressure, and had to file for bankruptcy. I soon met another man who seemed to be just what I needed after the cowboy. He was loving, gentle, and rich. He didn't work because he didn't have to. He came from a fine old family and even owned a yacht. I figured he was as far away from the cowboy as I could get. Once again, I married soon after I met my hero, and once again, things seemed fine at first. My husband loved me and my children, and not only did he pay all the bills, he was generous as well. Living with him made me feel secure. But then, about a year after we married, he began to complain about feeling lonely at home while I was off pursuing my career. Although I felt guilty knowing I did put my work ahead of our marriage, I refused to give it up. I wanted equality, just as the women's movement had promised me. I tried hard to make the relationship work, but once again, I just couldn't seem to balance my marriage and my career, and after 3 years, we divorced. I was beginning to wonder whether marriage and career fulfillment were compatible. Instead of love, equality seemed to lead to conflict and confusion. I observed that as women got stronger and became more male, men became intimidated and more female, reluctant to make a commitment and take on the responsibility for an independent woman who could leave him at will. These men still wanted a traditional, controllable, docile woman, not a woman's liber. Certainly, most of the men I met as a single woman were either intimidated by my success or wanted me to take care of them. The rest just avoided me. My daughters were having just as much trouble as I was. As they reached maturity, they too couldn't find mates who could or would accept their having a career and the time it took away from them. 3 of my daughters went to school for degrees and became professionals, while the 4th got married and had a baby. The career-oriented daughters envied the one with the husband and child, and she envied the education of the other 3. After I divorced my 3rd husband, I stayed single for the next 18 years and dated a variety of men, all of whom taught me something I needed to learn. In 1981, I earned my doctorate in psychology in the area of communication techniques. As a transactional analyst, I had studied the meaning and intent behind the words people use to communicate with one another. Soon, I saw a way to simplify and package communication techniques that my clients could use easily to negotiate better relationships. This technique, which I called semantic realignment, and which became my doctoral dissertation, is a way to apply consistent, logical principles within a carefully worked-out system. By clarifying and applying